Hey there and welcome to the worship team. If you're watching this video, then you've made one of our worship teams at church. And this series, this 10-week series, is designed to help you and your mentor talk through some of the most fundamental, some of the most important topics that we think you need to cover if you're going to do a great job on a worship team at our church. Now, in this first video, we're going to just cover the basics. So sit back and take a look. Let's start with John chapter 4. This is Jesus talking. He said this: "The time is coming, indeed it's here now, when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. The Father is looking for those who will worship him that way." I wanted to start with this scripture because it's kind of a good theme verse for our worship team at church. The worship team's job is to help the congregation worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And let's keep that in mind. Maybe even spend some time when this video is done talking about this particular passage and your experience in worship over the years at different churches. But I want to talk about how this series works, how this training series works. 3 simple steps. First, you're going to get a mentor. Hopefully, you've already been assigned a mentor. And so that's the person who is bringing you through this series. There are 10 lessons that you're going to need to cover, 10 different topics that we want you to talk through. This is the first topic. And you can do this once a week. You can do it once every other week. You can do 2 a week, whatever works best for you and your mentor. Or if you're doing this as a group, just make sure to cover all 10 topics. And of course, the goal is someday you'll be the mentor. Somebody's helping you talk through these topics, and down the road, you'll be able to help the next person, the newer person on the team, once you're not the rookie anymore, to cover these important topics. In fact, that's one of the best ways for you to learn it, isn't just to be taught it by a mentor, but for you to be the one teaching it someday down the road. That's one of our goals on this worship team. Everyone is a learner and everyone is a leader. Now, this particular series can be broken down into 3 sections with 3 topics in each section. So a total of 9 topics once you're done with this first introductory topic. The first section is where we will cover the basics. These are 3 topics that we think are fundamental for every worship team member to really understand. So you'll talk through each of these 3 basic worship team topics with your mentor. Now, the next 3 topics you get to choose from the worship page, pursuegodnetwork.org/worship. Check out that page and you'll find all kinds of series and also topics just for you and your mentor to talk through, and then later on for you and the worship team to talk through. So there are plenty of topics to choose from. Pick 3 topics that make the most sense for what you need to talk about. You can talk with your mentor about the 3 topics that you should choose to cover during this training series. Now, the last 3 topics in this series are what we call system topics. This is where we'll explain the big picture of how a discipleship culture works, a church that uses the tools at pursuegod.org. Remember, your worship team is one of many teams at the church, and we want to make sure that all of the teams align around these basic concepts. We want to make sure that you understand that the church that Jesus envisioned was a church where disciples are making more disciples. We're not just doing church. We're not just singing worship songs together or reading the Bible together. All of that stuff's important, but we're actually becoming the church that Jesus envisioned all along. That's what we'll talk about at the end of this series. So remember, Jesus said, "I want people, worshipers who will worship the Father in spirit and in truth." And this is what you are going to help the church to do. So use the questions below this video to talk about this introductory topic with your mentor, and then continue through this Worship 101 series and cover all of these topics, and you'll be well on your way to leading a congregation to be worshipers in spirit and in truth.